Hello, and I hope you're doing well today. So, on this channel page, I could talk about a number of topics and subjects. But for some reason today, I felt compelled to just jump on this camera and talk about my upcoming colonoscopy appointment tomorrow, right? So, I just want to go ahead and put my disclaimer in here that I am not a medical doctor. But I have listed a few of the GI doctors I do follow on Instagram. I will go ahead and put their uh, page names, I guess that's what you call it, so that, but I highly recommend, and I'm going to tag them because I do follow them and they provide good information, but I highly recommend you doing your own research so that you can know and learn what's best for you and what's best for your body. I also highly recommend, if you don't have a doctor, you speak to a doctor if you're having any kind of pains or any kind of symptoms in your body. I do highly recommend that as well. So, when I said I wanted to share with you about my upcoming colonoscopy appointment, I wonder if you made the same face or made the same comment that everyone else has asked, have done to me. They're like, oh my God, that drink. Everyone's talking about the not so tasty colonoscopy prep drink that you have to take, right? And you have to take it prior to your appointment. And I think the thing is about a gallon, so everyone, that's the first thing everyone says, oh my God, that drink. So if you're like me, or maybe you're not, but you're going to be me today for this quick second. How about that? You may have said, so why is it so important that I have a colonoscopy exam? And, what is it and why do I have to have it? Right. And I think those are good questions that you should ask yourself about anything that your doctor is asking you or suggesting that you do. Take the time to research it, take the time, most importantly, while you have the doctor's attention. Why do you think I need to have this exam? I know it's recommended that people that may have colon cancer in their family line, on their bloodline, that they get it at 45. I think they start everyone else like around 49, 50-ish. So, ask, why do you think I need to take this if you're not sure what it is? But I did do a quick internet search, and now when you come up with the internet search, the AI overview comes up first. So I'm going to tell you what the colonoscopy exam exactly is. So it is an exam. I'm looking down at my notes because I want to make sure I got it accurate. To view the insides of the entire large intestines, which I think is about 6 feet or something like that. Can you imagine that? It's all rounded up in your stomach that long. And they go from the rectum to the colon, the whole thing. And they use like this thin, flexible tube that's equipped with a camera, and it is primarily formed to screen for colorectal cancer. It investigates gastrointestinal systems, and it diagnoses any kind of bowel diseases that you may have. So it has its purpose for you having this exam. So three major things that it does, which I think is kind of cool. And then, why is it done? So this is what happens during the exam, but why is it done? So I came up with five just from my overview from just like, again, my quick internet search. It's a cancer prevention. Doctors look for and remove any precancerous growths like polyps that may be there before they turn into cancer. It could be a routine screening that, you're now at this age, and it's highly recommended that you start having these type of exams and tests. I think when you have one the first time and they find nothing, you don't have to come back for another 10 years. So it's every 10 years. So it's just for, screening for cancer. It can be a symptom investigation. It helps to find the causes of like, unexplained rectal bleeding, chronic diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain, and such. It can also be a diagnosis and a monitoring. So if the doctors find something, they may just have you have one maybe yearly or every 3 years, just to kind of monitor and see where you are with whatever they have diagnosed. It could be Crohn's disease, I hear, diverticulitis, hope I said that right, or any kind of inflammatory bowel disease. And also, they can, during the procedure of having a colonoscopy, they can take tissue samples to test for biopsies, which test for cancer, and also it can treat any kind of bleeding. So, from those little quick tidbits, you can see that having a colonoscopy is very important and very, very beneficial. But I want to pause and say this. If you see any blood coming out of any parts of your body, you need to go see a medical professional immediately. And that is the God honest truth, because that's your body signaling to you that something is off, something's not right, and it needs to be checked out. Um, if you are coming to social media to gain some information, that's great. If you are going on the internet to get some information, I think that is great also. But please don't self-diagnose yourself based off what you see on the internet, or what, maybe what even AI is telling you. You have to go see a medical professional if you're seeing any kind of bleeding or something like that out of any parts of your body, right? And whenever I talk about the body, I always relate it to our cars, right? If our car was leaking any kind of a fluid, we would take it to a mechanic to see what is going on. And just like going to a doctor, none of us are in a rush to go to a mechanic. We know, because they'll do a diagnosis and find 60 million things else you need to get fixed, and the price, right? But we still go because we want our car to be working right so we can get to A and B. And the same should be for our bodies. If we see something, we feel something. What is that new saying? If you see something, say something. So if you feel something, say something. If you see something, say something. Please reach out to your medical professional, because you want your bodies to be healthy. Just also using a car analogy, whenever those red lights come up, whether it's you need gas or brakes or your tire pressure, that's the car telling you that something is wrong and you need to check it out. If you have any pains, any symptoms, that's your body giving you a symptom that something is wrong and needs to be checked out. So please don't ignore your body, because you probably wouldn't ignore your car, because you need the car to get to A to Z. But guess what? You need this body to be able to get there as well. Okay. So I'm going to come off my soapbox, preaching box, and come back down. Okay. So when you're scheduled for a colonoscopy, I highly recommend speaking to your doctor about any medications that you're on, to making sure that whatever they're going to prescribe to you for the colonoscopy prep, aligns with the medication that you're taking as well. So tell them about it. I told my doctor about anything, and I even told him the supplements that I was taking, like your vitamins and stuff like that. I think you should do that, because you just want everything to be okay. You don't want to have any kind of, reactions. And I highly also recommend that you read the instructions. My doctor's office called me, I think, 2 weeks in advance to let me know the prescription was already sent over. And they sent me the instructions, and I said, okay. They was going to put it in the patient portal. I said, okay. I went and got the prep a week before, because I just wanted to have it. And I did go through and read all of the instructions and things that they say you should and shouldn't do, and those kind of things. So I think that you should, I highly recommend that you read that, because it tells you, and if your doctor's office doesn't give you anything like that, please go online, because mine told me what I should stop eating a week before, like nuts and things of that nature. It tells you what you should eat 3 days before, and what you should eat like the day that you're starting your prep, right? So please, please, please do your research and be prepared, so that you can have a great and wonderful colonoscopy appointment, right? You're like, what is that? So in life, I like to say that, choose your heart, right? And so, in full transparency, I'm not excited about going to the doctor tomorrow morning and having this done. Who's excited about going to the doctor? But I know this is just one of the things that needs to happen in my life, just to monitor the health of my colon. So I'm not excited about it, but I know that it has to be done. So I'm willing to choose my heart, right? I'm willing to take a little bit of the not so tasty colonoscopy prep, which could potentially mean, which can be very hard, and then you have to stop eating for 24 hours. So that could be hard, but that could potentially mean that I don't have to make hard choices and have hard procedures later on. And I prefer to be proactive than reactive. So just because you go have a colonoscopy exam doesn't mean that you're not going to get cancer. So I don't want you to think that, or anything like that. I just am one of those people that I'd rather do the hard stuff up front if it's going to prevent me from having to do some hard stuff later. So if it means that I have to take this not so tasty beverage for 24 hours, then I'm going to do that so that I can have a great colonoscopy exam. And then hopefully if they find anything, they can remove something and they tell me, see you later, see you in 10 years. That is my goal. That is what I'm hoping for. So I want to show you what they did send over. I hope you can see it because I tried to. So, okay, this little chart thing here, when you're taking your colonoscopy prep or when you're using the bathroom on a regular basis, your bowel movement is normally brown. And by the way, hopefully you're checking your bowel movement. I check mine all the time. I went online to see what a good bowel movement looks like, and so I monitored it. People think that may be gross or whatever. It's not. Again, other things can be quite gross if you have to take a lot of medications and other things of that nature. So I don't mind looking at it. So when you start off, your bowel movement is going to come in liquid as you're taking this, and the objective is to get over into these two areas where your bowel movement is a liquid. I think this is what yellow is the ideal, but a light orange and mostly clear is good. So it has its purposes for you taking this because you want to be able to allow the doctor when they're doing the colonoscopy to be able to give you a really good exam. And one of the things here, I'm going to get up close, is they have a picture. This is what a clear one looks like when there's nothing up, and they got a little picture of something. Maybe they found a polyp. And then this over here, I'm trying to get as close as I can, is when it has a lot of stuff and the camera can't get through. And so it has all of this stuff here. Hopefully you can see it. If not, I do apologize. But that's what you want. You want to have, when you go to your colonoscopy appointment, you want to make sure that your colon is as clear as possible so that the camera can get in there and see everything it needs to see. So for me, that is very important. So I'm going to do whatever it takes because this doesn't happen often, this exam. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I have this done correctly, right? So, and I think it's important, like I said before, to research what you can and cannot eat before your colonoscopy exam. Even the sheet I had told me what I couldn't eat one week before, and then 3 days before what I should do, and then today, because I'm having my colonoscopy tomorrow, what I should be doing even on today. So if your doctor's office doesn't provide that for you, please go online and look at that. And also, it'll what is this thing called? They also sent me over this colonoscopy low residue diet. So that you can take up to 3 days before your colonoscopy. So there's some good information out there that you need to have. If they didn't tell me about the nuts, I probably would have still eating nuts and oatmeal and different things of that nature. You'd be surprised what goes through your digestive system that may present as a problem, but it's actually not a problem. It may just be some food you were eating. They tell you to stay away from all red stuff, which makes sense. I remember one time I had some beets when I used the bathroom. I saw red and I kind of freaked out, but now I remember I had beets. Is that too much TMI? Nah, we're grown folks over here. We can handle this. So I think it's important for you to have the best exam, so have the cleanest colon possible. So when I look at this little thing here, I'm pretty competitive. I'm like, okay, how do I get over here? So that is what my goal is how to get over to that side. So I'm pretty competitive, like I said, and I'm also a huge planner, which is why I believe in reading the instructions, because it'll let me know how I'm supposed to plan for this type of exam, because they will send you home. So I do believe they do question you, from what I've been seeing online, about what you ate. I mean, some people have had breakfast the day of, or they didn't read the instructions, so they didn't even know. I even saw one of the doctors I follow say, don't even chew gum that day, or maybe the couple of days before. So people really need to read those instructions, because you don't want to have to take this prep for naught, and then you got to do it all over again, maybe 3-6 months when they schedule it again, right? So let's do everything up front the right way, so we don't have to come back until another 10 years, right? That's what we're hoping for. So I found reading the instructions very helpful, because it helped me plan, is what I want to do. So this is my prep. Can you see it? This is the prep I have, and the powder is at the bottom, as you can see. So I'm getting ready to put this in, the water in here, and it has a fill line. Let me see if I go this way. It has a fill line. It's right in this area where you put the water up to. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. They said you can put it up in the refrigerator 24 hours even before you start it. So I could have mixed this yesterday if I wanted to, but that's okay. It's early enough that I'm going to mix this right now. And I'm going to take it straight, no chaser, because I said I just want to make sure that this is a medication, and I want to make sure I have the cleanest bowel possible, or colon, excuse me, possible, so that they can, again, be able to see everything they need to see so they can give me a good, accurate report. And that's what you want. You want the doctors to give you a good, honest, accurate report, and you help them by making sure you do everything that you're supposed to do when you're taking this lovely gallon size prep. So, like I said, I'm just going to take it straight and hopefully, and pray that it does what it's supposed to do. And that is what I pray over any medication. So it is a medication, right? So I am going to start this today because my instructions told me I can start anywhere between 4 and 6, I think, or 4 and 8. So I'm going to start this at 4 p.m. Today. And my instructions told me to only drink half of this. There is no half marker on here. So, of course, because who I am, I'm a planner. I have my ruler. So I'm going to mark where I think half is. And I have my little Sharpie here. And I'm going to put 4 p.m. on here. I'm just going to keep notes right here because I just like to track stuff. So this is what I'm going to do. And so, yay, it's delicious. It's yummy. It's yummy for the tummy. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm supposed to take half today and then the other half 5 hours before my appointment. And my appointment is at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm going to have to count backwards. I feel like this is like a project management thing. I'm like, so, okay, what's the deadline? Because then it also says in the instructions that I cannot have any liquids of any form 2 hours before my appointment. So technically by 7 a.m., I cannot have anything else. So I'm going to count from 7 a.m. backwards to take the other half of this thing. And my instruction says not to gulp it, but you can, put it in a straw and you can sip it because gulping it may cause some kind of stomach and nausea and things of that nature. And they say if you get nauseous, just kind of like pace yourself and walk around. They say, okay, let's see, that whatever the half mark is, I should be able to finish the half mark in 1.5 hours. So an hour and a half, I should be done with half of this liquid, sipping it. They say, start off with an 8-ounce glass and you just sip it. And then I should be able to finish the other half, they say, in 1.5 hours. So an hour and a half. So basically 3 hours in total. Okay. I can give myself 3 hours in total to have a clean colon so they can have a clean exam, right? This is how my mind has to think in order for me to get things done. I have to look for the good. I have to look for the positive. I have to look for the end result. Taking this prep is not a punishment, but it is a help so that they can see what they need to see. And I can get a clean, good, accurate report. So, and then afterwards, they say that the diarrhea will continue for at least an hour, after I start taking the prep. So we gonna see. My nurse seems to think that I'm going to be up all night, having liquid bowel movement. Okay. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's experience is going to be different. So I just say, stay close to home. If you can, and monitor it. If anything happens, I think it's best for you to call the doctor's office immediately. Like if you're taking the prep and you take half of it or at the end of it and your bowel is still brown, I think you should call the doctor's office and let them know immediately because there may be some other kinds of issue. But again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just giving you my thoughts and advice. Help is an encouragement. Look at it that way, right? So I thought, and also I like to be positive, so I have to give myself something to be creative, because if I get creative, then, I'm not going to have a hard time, taking something or doing something I don't want to do, just like when I used to run marathons and I'd be out training, I'm like, okay, if I make it to that next post, I make it to the next mile. So little by little, that's just my way of encouraging myself. So one of the things that I did was I renamed this. So the official name of it is something that I have no desire to learn to process or read, but it's something lemon lime. So I decided to call this the CB24, the Colonoscopy Beverage 24, because we got to take it within 24 hours. So I renamed the beverage, right? And it's okay. You can rename it if you want to, but this is what's going to work for me. And I have to do the best thing possible for me. So from now on, it's the CB24. So what you're drinking, CB24, like you may have your favorite beverage, soda beverage pop, and it's whatever the brand is, zero or low sugar or whatever it is. So that's what you're drinking. Or maybe you might have a French 75. You might have a lemon drop. You might have something as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. I don't know, but I'm renaming it the CB24. And so one of the ways I think that you can take the stigma away from it, although the taste is not going to be great. And again, I know people mix it with things. I'm not doing that. I just want the medicine to work the way it's supposed to work. And I'm willing to sacrifice, that's what it is, sacrifice this one day, 24 hours or whatever it is, so that I can go ahead and, uh, you know, get a good report. Because as you can see, I keep mentioning that because that's what's important for me, especially as I get older. I want to know what's happening on the inside of my body. And I thank God for modern medicine, because what our ancestors didn't have prior to now, we do. And we should take advantage of it if we have that option. So one of the things I think that you can do that might be helpful is when you're taking your beverage, not only do they say it's okay to put it in the fridge. I wouldn't put it in the freezer, because the being frozen might change the concentration level or even the medicine. Because keep in mind, it's a drink. Excuse me, it's the CB24 is a beverage, and it's a beverage, and you want to make sure you take the medicine the way it's prescribed. So I don't know about putting it in the freezer, but they said you can put it there. So you can have a nice, beautiful glass. I think this is like a beer glass. I just love the shape of this. You can do that. You can even do, I don't know how to do this, so don't blame me if your glass break. Maybe you can put your glasses in the freezer and maybe get a frost on them and have some. This is a tall glass, and maybe you would do half, down here or something like that. So you could have, on one of these glasses. If you want, you could have a lovely, I guess this is a wine glass. Oh, this looks like a water glass. I love different glasses and stuff like that. Or you could do a flute or something like that. Or if you really want to, you could have it in a teeny glass, and have yourself a nice little CB24 teeny, right? So it's up to you how you want to do it. You can have it. This is a Moscow Mule cup. And this actually, I do know you can put this in the freezer. So this, if you have one of these laying around, you could have it in this. There's just so many different things. If you are a coffee drinker, a tea drinker, put it in your favorite coffee cup or, your tea cup and have it that way. If you're one of those people that like to have your beverages in a short glass, and they usually have the big ice, but you're not having the ice, then go ahead and put it in one of these type of things. Or this is probably what I will be using, because it seems a little short, and it seems like this will, to me, once I finish this, this might seem a little challenging unless I put it like right here. But once I finish this, I know that at least I've, got some of it done. If nothing else, get your red cup and have yourself a CB24 beverage. That's what I say, enjoy the CB24, because it's bringing healing properties to your body so you can have a clean colon. Yay. And if nothing else, you know how we are, ladies. And I mean, maybe the men, we got a gazillion tumblers. I have them in all sizes. We all know. I got all the things. So, they can, keep our beverages cold, cold for us. I even have this one. I said I like this one. This one says sip, sip, hooray. You might be one to take tomorrow morning. And I thought about this. I remember this. I have a bunch of these. And what these are they're ice cubes, but they're enclosed in plastic. So this is a lemon one, and it's hard. And you can put it inside of your beverage. This is a round one. I have all different shape. I have a square one here. So you can put these in your beverages too. Those only sizes I have. So you can put these in your beverages too to make it cold, so you don't have to do ice. If you do ice, remember the ice may melt in your beverage, and that means you're drinking more liquid. And then it, change the structure of it, because, think about it. If you're drinking a soda or pop and it gets too much water in it, it changes the consistency, of your beverage, and, it's not as tasty. So these things I have, I don't know where I got them from. I'm always picking up something, but I do use these. So, and they're easy. They go in your beverage. Once you finish with them, you wash them, air dry them, throw them back in the freezer. I just keep them in a little bag like that. So I just wanted to say, that's my way of trying to keep it cute, trying to keep it sexy, but yet getting it done, right? So if somebody says to me, what are you drinking tonight? CB24. That's what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a CB24. That's right. And I'll be drinking it for the next 24 hours, So there's no CB24 in driving either, because you got to find that bathroom really quick, right? So I just want to take this. Hopefully this takes a moment, gives you a moment to say, as a sign to say, go get your colonoscopy. I know a lot of people that don't go get colonoscopies because they are afraid of it. They don't want anybody in their, their butts and things of that nature. But you're under anesthesia, so you'll never know. And the longest part of the exam, I think the exam probably takes like 30 minutes, if that. And the longest part is the anesthesia, prepping you for it, and then, you coming out of the anesthesia. So you know what? Go get your colonoscopy appointment. Don't let fear prevent you from seeking medical professional help. And I know a lot of people don't like to go to doctors because some people have, historically been known to, secretly be tested on and things of that nature. But you know what? Show up for yourself. Show yourself you love yourself. Show your family you love yourself, and just make the appointment for your colonoscopy, or for any kind of pain or symptom that you're having, and most definitely if you're seeing blood. Again, try to reach out and do your own kind of research, ask questions, whatever the fear that you think that you may have. Or maybe this might just be a reminder, I got to get this done. So yes, you got to get this done. And I'm not sure why I wanted to come on here and post this, but my mind just comes to my cousin who recently lost his battle to colon cancer. And I'm not sure if he ever got a colonoscopy. I'm not sure what led him to the doctor. All I know is by the time I found out, it was stage 4. He's a few years younger than I am, just the nicest person in the entire world. And I'm going to be talking to my family about it, since he is a first cousin, to make sure that everybody knows the importance of everyone being checked out if they haven't, especially when I talk to the men in my family. Going to be a really rough and tough conversation because I don't think men want to hear that. But you know what? It's important, if we love our family members and we love ourselves, that we have these conversations with ourselves and we have these conversations with our friends and family. So I hope that you have a fantastic day. I will keep you posted, since I brought this up, about how my colonoscopy exam went. So I hope that you have a lovely day, and I hope that you realize that you are important and you are needed and you are loved. And I hope that you take care of yourself. So I'm off. So, do you think maybe I'm a mixologist now? Want to make me a CB24? I'm a mixologist, right? Everybody's a mixologist now, right? So I don't know, but I'm only mixing this with water. Okay. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can put them there. I don't know if I can answer them, but you know what? Why not share your testimony if you have one? Okay. Talk to you later. Have a great day. And don't forget, take care of yourself now.